Hi, Bill Wilson here from the Oregon Ministry Network. Hey, thanks for taking a few moments to allow me to share a brief update on the state of the Oregon Ministry Network. Proverbs 13 and verse 19 says, "It's pleasant to see dreams come true." Haven't you found that to be absolutely true? Just 1 year ago, I stood here in this unfinished building, prepared to lead the biggest network relocation in 55 years. Now, 12 months later, a dream has been fulfilled. And I just want to thank you for your support, your patience, and most of all, your prayers in this major transition here at the Oregon Ministry Network. In February 2020, your Oregon Ministry Network leadership team traveled nearly 3,000 miles throughout Oregon. We stopped at 18 locations, and we took time to pray with nearly 400 of our ministers and leaders from our churches. These ministers represented almost 100 of our churches in the network. Each time was powerful. I must be honest with you, I had no idea how significant the month of February 2020 would be and how impactful the 2020 prayer tour would be on our ministers and churches. Within days of completing the tour, references started to be made about the Wuhan flu. Most of us didn't concern ourselves with it at that time, but within days we began to understand the impact that was taking place with what was known as the coronavirus, or now more specifically, COVID-19. You are fully aware of the staggering numbers, and all of us have been affected by this unusual moment in history. Now, for more than 2 months, this pandemic has crossed the world and affected every aspect of life, causing shutdowns of every aspect of normalcy. Words like shelter in place or shelter at home, social distancing have become part of our vocabulary. And the words that my mother had been saying for years came back to haunt me because our leaders and our doctors were saying the same thing: wash your hands. Well, moms are always right, aren't they? This is the first time in over 100 years regular church gatherings had to be canceled here in Oregon. This past Easter Sunday was like no other Easter in our lifetime. Millions attended virtual services and even in some cases drive-in services. It's been estimated that more people attended Easter services this year than ever in history. I saw the creativity of our pastors and churches and was again reminded that God has brilliant solutions for bad situations. I now see in a greater way the value and the virtue and the victory of the 2020 prayer tour. It helped us be better prepared for these most unusual times in our ministry. Our spirits were united, our hearts were encouraged, our strength was increased, and God planted new dreams in us for the future. I sensed at that time that God was preparing us to be part of the greatest revival in this generation. I have to tell you, I wasn't sure how it would look, and I had no idea what God was going to do. We asked God to do a new thing, and little did we know at the time that God would be using His church outside of the walls of the normal building gatherings. Today, more and more people are hearing the gospel through online technology and social media platforms. More and more people are attending services and hearing the preaching of the good news of Jesus Christ. Even on social media outlets and mainstream television stations, people are hearing the gospel. And I even saw a pastor being asked to pray and ask God for help. So I applaud all of our OMM pastors for your efforts to touch your communities and minister to people and learn to preach in a brand new way. I'm certainly disappointed that this year we're not able to have our annual summit as was announced earlier. But I am also committed to following the counsel of our national and local leaders and believe that God will honor that. I'm going to report to you that the OMM Presbytery has taken action to continue to oversee and manage the network business. And as prescribed by our bylaws, an emergency resolution was approved, giving the presbytery the responsibility during this time these extraordinary times, to oversee all business until next year's annual meeting. This means that the current presbyters will remain in place until 2021. It also means that the presbyter reviewed and received the 2019 financial audit, and the network received again a very clean opinion. Because we are not able to conduct our annual missions night and receive that very important Great Commission's offering for the Great Commission Fund, I'm asking you to help us raise the nearly $39,000 that is needed. Please send your offerings either online or by mail, just as Joy and I are going to be doing in this next week. This provides the much needed funds to assist airfare and moving expenses for our missionaries. And as soon as the restrictions are lifted, several of our missionary families will be returning to the field of their calling. So thank you in advance, pastors, for doing this right away. And please step out in faith. Ephesians 3:20 through 21 reads, God can do anything, you know, far more than you could ever imagine or guess or even request in your wildest dreams. He does it not by pushing us around, but by working within us, His Spirit deeply and gently within us. God-given dreams will always move us from the boredom of routine to bold adventures of faith to accomplish more than we ever thought possible. I can testify that this is true in my own life. Our theme this year is dream, and I believe God has a dream for you and a dream for me. Proverbs 13:12 again says, a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. God's dreams will always stir our spirit, stretch our imagination, and solidify our attention, and strengthen our faith to move forward. Although our lives and ministries are faced with cultural changes and social headwinds like never before, I believe this is a time for each of us to dream big and to pray, okay, God, what is your plan for my life and for our ministry? The fact is that your ministry will never look the same. This doesn't catch God off guard or by surprise. No. In fact, He has always known what the future holds, and He has a dream for all of us. Here's what God's saying to the Oregon Ministry Network. He's saying, first of all, dream to see that every OMN church reset. I'm calling all of our pastors and our churches to be willing to lead their churches through an effort of assessing, adjusting, and advancing in their efforts to reach their communities without compromise by 2025. I'm asking you to join me in taking time to prayerfully assess where you are as a leader and ask God to help you reset your vision for the future of what could be and what should be. Pray for the spirit of Joshua and Caleb, that you can take new territory and know that your network is ready to assist you through coaching and resourcing. Secondly, I'm asking you to dream, and we're going to be dreaming, to see that new OMN virtual library of free resources is available to you by next year at this time. A dream to have a virtual library with podcasts and training resources and materials that pastors and leaders can use to enhance and to enrich their local leadership. In recent weeks, we've taken steps to provide every OMN pastor and leader and minister these kinds of updated current materials, equipping believers and equipping leaders for ministry. Thirdly, we want to dream to expand the use of technology. We're learning this right now as I speak. We want to work on providing user-friendly access to the most current network information and communication and continue to refresh our web presence and to help our local churches in this way. Fourthly, we're dreaming to see 10 new world missionary units from our OMN family by 2030. I call on every OMN church to increase their missionary support by 10% in the next 2 years, and also support every OMN appointed missionary. They are brilliant people. This dream will bring huge results and rewards to the local church and provide a new wave of world changers out of the Oregon Ministry Network. Fifth, dreaming to see established a global PDX intercultural international church partnership in the Portland metro area by 2021. We've asked world changers John and Cindy Davis to lead the way on this. Already things are happening, and we dream of raising up a united endeavor to reaching the growing number of internationals moving to the Portland metro area. Already this movement is taking place, and I'm excited about it. And 6, I want to see every community in Oregon over 10,000 in population have a healthy Assemblies of God church by 2030. This is deep in our hearts. I'm asking you to join me and your leadership in praying and planning how you as a leader and as you as a church can duplicate your efforts in communities near you. Dream big, that all will know. I believe this is a year to revisit what we are doing and praying for a fresh move of the Holy Spirit and a fresh dream. Proverbs 13:19 says, "It is pleasant to see dreams come true." What a privilege it is to serve you in the Oregon Ministry Network as your lead pastor, and as some would refer to me as superintendent. As we move into our 14th year in this role, I can report that we have seen many dreams come true. But God has new dreams for us to pursue for the Oregon Ministry Network. Both Joy and I are grateful to the Lord for allowing us this honor, and we celebrate all that has been accomplished. God has given us an extraordinary ministry team of qualified and gifted leaders. I'm grateful for each one of them. And together with you, we're prepared to follow God's dream. Will you join us? Thank you so much, and God richly bless you from the Oregon Ministry Network.